It's 10 after midnight, and you're lying in bed trying to sleep, but your eyes keep popping open. Your mind is racing, thoughts tumbling over each other, anxieties of the day pressing in on you. It's frustrating. You just want to go to sleep. No one has ever been able to sleep at night since the dawn of human civilization, because there is something out there keeping us all awake. Something we cannot see. Something that makes our brains scream in terror and run wild with fear. Something that if we knew what it was, we would probably die from a heart attack right then and there. Now imagine that it's not just you. Every human being on Earth is lying in bed trying to sleep, except none of them can. This thing that keeps us awake doesn't exist until we look at it, unable to do anything except wait for the inevitable moment, when the man in the trench coat would rip off the covers and drag him down to hell. The room was dark, but he could see the closet door at the end of the room, and the doorknob was slowly turning. He would also make YouTube videos where he challenged God to appear before him and grant him a wish. Anything he wanted, just to prove that God was real. Again, he lifted the edge of the blanket, just a little bit, and looked out. A pair of feet in dress shoes were standing in front of the closet door. Then a black shoe stepped out from the closet, followed by a black sock. Then a black shirt came out, followed by a black tie. Finally, a man in a black suit stepped out of the closet and walked toward the bed. But God never said a word. And as they stood there in the darkness, the man in the suit reached out and took the fedora off his face. And in the dim light, the man in bed saw the face of God. Let me explain. There once was a man who did not believe in God. He was an atheist. And he wasn't the kind of atheist who just didn't believe in God. I called you, God said, his voice echoing with power. You challenged me to grant you a wish. What do you want? Oh, I don't know, the man stammered. I guess I just want to go to sleep. God smiled and snapped his fingers. And in an instant, the man in bed was fast asleep. He was the kind of atheist who actively tried to prove the non-existence of God. Then he disappeared along, with God and the closet and the shoes and the tie and everything else that had come out of the closet. But here's the kicker. He would walk into churches and yell, "Hey, everybody, look over there. Is God gonna strike me down now?" He turned around and saw a man standing behind him with a trench coat and a fedora pulled low over his face. If you did, then congratulations, because you just proved the existence of God. Think about it. If no one ever looks for God, if no one ever believes in God, then God simply does not exist. But you looked for God in that story. You believed in God in that story. Therefore, God exists. The man took a step closer. "Do we meet for the first time?" he said, his voice deep and booming like the voice of God. The man turned and ran. One day this man was walking home from the grocery store when he felt a tap on his shoulder. Finally, the man burst through the door of his house, slammed it shut and locked it. But as he slid down the door, he could have sworn he heard the man outside say, "You can't hide from me." He ran as fast as he could, but the man in the trench coat kept pace with him, always a step behind, never getting any closer, always just within view. Then the man went to his bedroom, climbed into bed and pulled the covers over his head. But even under the covers, he could feel the presence of the man in the trench coat standing at the foot of his bed. He could feel his eyes boring into him, waiting for him to come out from under the covers. He didn't want to see what was coming, but curiosity got the best of him. So the man stayed under the covers for hours, drinking in his own urine, unable to move, unable to breathe. Finally, when he thought the sun must be coming up, he slowly, and with great effort, untucked the corner of the blanket and peeked out from under it. The man screamed and ducked back under the covers. And as he walked toward the bed, the man in the trench coat stepped out of the closet as well. "Why are you here?" the man in bed whispered. And that S, when the man in the trench coat leaned in close to the man in bed and whispered, "Don't ever go to sleep again." And the man in bed never slept another night in his life. The end. Okay? So let me ask you a question. Did you enjoy that story?